So good morning to all the attendees, my co-panelists, and all the audience who are here. I believe the topic on which we all are going to do a sort of brainstorming was supposed to be discussed decades ago. Unfortunately, we were going through that same rote learning system, content-based system, old traditional assessment, where the marks were important and not the skills or the concept. Thank to the present government that couple of years back, we have got the new education policy, which opens the door or gives us the flexibility to implement our own different strategies which focuses on the skills. And here I am going to discuss with all my elite group of panelists who are experienced educators, policy makers. They are the masters in digital media because we all are living in the digital era. And going to understand how we all have a beautiful vision that we should do A, B, C things, but how to implement these ideas and put it into the practice, how to cover that gap and make it possible in our classrooms, by using which we don't prepare our learners only for the exams, but we prepare them for their life. So today's topic, translating vision into action, shaping the new generation of K-12 education. We have 4 panelists at the moment with us, and I'm told that the next moderator panelist will be joining us very soon. Without wasting the time, because we are already, I'm keeping a watch because we have been given 50 minutes. We were supposed to begin at 10 and bind it up by 10:50. It's already 10:31. We'll try to ponder upon the points and share our ideas along with you people. And let's take a deep dive, at least for next half an hour, how we can implement or we can find out the actionable strategies which can be used by the schools for the benefit of each and every child. So, sir, I would like to begin with you, Sir Colonel Girija Shankerji. As an advocate of progressive education, your insight can help to set the foundation for a forward-looking approach. So my question to you is here, or we would like to know your views upon what does a progressive and inclusive vision for K-12 education in the 21st century look like to you? And how can we align this vision with the dynamic needs of future workforces and societal expectations? To you, sir.
Thank you. सबसे पहले आप सब लोग को मेरा प्रणाम. आप सब लोग गुरु हैं, teachers, and it is said, गुरु गोविंद दोनों खड़े का अकेला गो पाए. तो आप लोग मेरा प्रणाम स्वीकार कीजिए. I've been a paratrooper, a paracommando in the army. So couple of things that you take from the army which continue and which will always continue. We are in a changing world, we know, especially induction of AI, quantum, all these new systems which are coming in. The world that we see now will not be like this anymore. In 90s, we had this window system which substantially changed the way people looked, thought, calculated, saw the world. But now AI for sure is going to change everything. We have seen in the past revolutions, industrial revolution, or the wars, or different things which bring a major change in the world. AI is going to bring that major change, but human mind is equipped to handle all the situations. So in the changing world, things will many new things are going. It's a paradigm shift, and it has a much deeper connotation than what we can comprehend as of now. But at the same time, there will be many things which will not change. The changing things and not changing things. The changing things are how we perceive the world, how AI is going to influence that, how quantum calculation is going to influence that. Because when computer era were ushered, things changed in the world. Now, again, the things changing. And we have to equip the new generation, particularly all the educators. They have to equip because they are themselves not equipped for that. I don't know what will be the world like at this stage. What the world will be like after some time when the AI is inducted. I was reading a Goldman Sachs report saying that 300 million jobs which are there presently, so they'll face a different kind of a challenge. Now, unless these children who are in class 1 or prep are educated, sensitized about the AI world or this changing world, they will not be able to face, because it will be a very competitive world. When the computer life came, they were initially apprehensive. Everyone in the world was apprehensive that the jobs will be lost, but it created many more jobs. So AI will also create many more jobs. So what is to be done is to educate the children right at the inception. They are to be told, they are not to be told what to learn, but how to learn it. How to learn is the key to the whole thing. And then nature will take its course. They will move forward in life. So the things will change, an unknown future will unfold. But at the same time, I'll say the things which will not change, which have seen test of time. These things are wisdom, or I would say 5 main things in life which determine our course of life. Our emotional intelligence, our emotional stability, our communication skills. AI is not going to influence that. Our communication skills, our intelligence, our courage, valor, patience, and determination. If we teach the children how to strike a balance in these 5 factors, no matter where they go, how they will be a winner. We want the children to be winners. We want the children to be global leaders. But just telling them, okay, 2 into 2 is 4 is not going to work out. We have to enable them with a stronger emotional intelligence, with a way how to learn. If we keep on teaching them that Babur came to India in 1526 and defeated Ibrahim Lodi in Battle of Panipat, I mean, that's not going to do anything. It's not going to fetch anything to us. So, to educate them on that, it has a much deeper connotation. The children have to be taught discerning ability to discern between right and wrong, and then have courage to follow the right path. Then they will be winners everywhere. To tell them how to teach AI or the quantum calculations or the new world which is unfolding, right now we don't even know about it, how it is to be done. But yes, to be sensitive about it and how to learn it is important. And they'll be winners. All of us have just one mission: to make these children strong, achieve their dream. Determination is very important for them. How to strike a balance between these 5 strengths of a human being. I'm a paratrooper, I'm 73 years old, right? To set up an example for the children at the age of 71, which is nobody else in India has done. So I did a combat jump in Agra in my old unit at the age of 71. So the children, when I came back to the school, I spoke to the children. I said, yes, I did this jump for you. And if I can do it at 71, that time I was 71. If I can do it at 71, all of you can do it. And thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
आप सबको
Colonel.
प्रणाम.
Thank you so much. So I completely agree that world is changing. There are unpredictable future career options. We don't know. Whenever the parent come to take admission with us and say which curriculum is good, and my answer is all the curriculums are same, 2 plus 2 is 4 across the globe. What makes the difference is how you inculcate and make the child learn and not rote learn, how you can inculcate the habits of learning or the skills in them and making the concept clear. And yes, I agree, sir, that we all are lifelong learners. You have set that example at 71. I believe if God permits us to live up to 100, we will remain learners. Thank you for that, sir. I wish to discuss my next point, sir, with Dr. Sharda Sharma. Uh, Madam, curriculum design is the central to shaping future ready learners. And your expertise is vital in navigating this challenge. So I wish to know if you can share your thoughts on how critical thinking, creativity, and digital literacy, what Sir has said. You have highlighted all these points alongside traditional subjects effectively.
With regards to the curriculum preparation or the curriculum design, as we say, as Sir clearly mentioned that, we need to see what are the changes coming in. We need to keep in mind how these changes are going to have an impact on the students. That should be our major objective. That should be our major goal. Impact is one word that if we keep in mind, I guess everything will fall in place. With this in this regard, I guess how a curriculum has to be planned is to start right from the lowers, that is the nursery onwards, and taking into consideration the K-12 education or even higher education for that matter. How is this curriculum designed right from the pre-primary to the university? How is it going to have an impact on the students? So if we start, we will have, as Dr. Pathak said, that every curriculum is good. There's no change in teaching, there's no change in learning, but it all depends on how. How do you teach? How do you learn? So where the curriculum design is concerned, right from pre-primary, if we see an alignment between different sections, if we see the pre-primary alignment with the primary aligning with the lower secondary, the lower secondary with the higher secondary, and then into the undergrad and university. For example, if we take a particular subject, suppose mathematics, and we start from the pre-primary and we see that, fine, it is 2 plus 2. Everybody knows 2 plus 2 is 4. But a child will want to prove that 2 plus 2 is 5. And how do you allow the child to do that? What is the extra creative instinct that the child has? What is the inquisitiveness that the child that, he or she is trying to portray? That 2 plus 2, how is it taken forward into the pre-primary, from the pre-primary into the primary? Whether there is a gap between the pre-primary and primary learning. If there is a gap, all the teachers, the stakeholders, the governors, everybody need to come together, need to collaborate with each other, and then bridge that gap, bridge that that stage where the child is going to proceed from pre-primary into primary, and likewise from primary into the lower secondary and higher secondary, so on and so forth. This is ideally called as aligning the curriculum from top to bottom. Likewise, we can do it horizontally as well. If we see from you're teaching a particular subject where integration of different areas is concerned, we can take into consideration, for example, water is a source where we can take one example and start teaching on the basis of that. In science or physics, the teacher teaches the density of water, maths in mathematics, mass, volume, weight, all of those things. And at the same time, in the same week, if a concept of water is taught throughout, the child has not only a creative instinct, which is far more developed than what he had in the previous week, but this feedback or the reflection that the child has after going back home or after learning in that particular week will make a major and a stark difference in that. So I've blended both the questions together, if even the STEM and STEAM education. So I guess the integration as well as the alignment of curriculum is going to make a major difference. Thank you, Dr. Pathak.
Thank you, Dr. Sharda. I personally wish to just add, beautifully given that horizontal and vertical alignment. As we say, 2 plus 2 is 4. I'm sure those who are sitting in this hall will agree with me that when we ask A for, what comes to our mind? Apple. Because we have been trained only to think A for apple, don't think anything beyond that. So what we have started in our pre-primary section or EY section, we have prepared our own ABC. And we say A for Amras, A for astronaut, A for Aryabhat, and A for Agra. And we have given 2 or 3 lines for each. How to prepare Amras. So ingredients are mango pulp, then energy for that sugar, and then milk. So what I'm trying to say, the teacher will discuss these 4. So child will not learn only A for apple, 4. And then if there are 20 learner, teacher promotes and motivates them that now you identify what A can be. So the learner will carry the 20 words with him or with her. And that gives them the creative thinking, which once upon a time, our roots of creative thinking was cut at the age of 3. When you are entering in the school, say A for apple only. That is what is the change required. And not only that much, with taking, say, for example, A for Amras, we can train the learners in different subjects. What Dr. Sharda said, interdisciplinary subjects. If I can take liberty, just 2 lines more. We use mango pulp, we use sugar, and we use milk. These are the 3 main ingredients. The teacher can say that your body needs energy, you get from carbohydrate, from that sugar, the protein, vitamin, calcium you get from milk. So the science topic. And when we say that we have to take half kg of mango pulp, 1 liter of milk, 100 gram of sugar, we are giving them the units, the ratio, proportion, liquid to be measured in liter, then solids to be measured in this. So 2 lines by French teacher, Marathi teacher, Hindi teacher, the languages are given. This is the way we have to start training our learners rather than that particular thing. Very well said, ma'am. I wish to now come to you, sir. Policymaker, I'll come little late. Mr. Manish ji, the role of technology in education is transformative. You come from Zealand, right?
That's right.
And your insight are essential to achieving a balanced integration. My question to you is, how can schools leverage emerging technologies like AI, VR, and AR, artificial intelligence, virtual and augmented reality, to enhance personalized learning experiences for students? What strategies can schools adopt to maintain a balance between digital tools and hand-on experience in the classroom? Over to you.
I think there's a lot of debate that goes on the use of technology in schools, whether children should be kept away from devices or they should be enabled to learn the use of devices. I think uh, Colonel Girija, Shanker, and Dr. Sharda talked about the how part of education. I think I'll just want to make a point about the why part of education. I think it's in one line, if I were to state, if India has to become a Viksit Bharat by 2047, we have to realize that it's not us who will take it there. It's today's children who will take it there. They are the 5-year-olds of today, will be the 28-year-olds at that point of time. They are the ones who are going to take it. As simple as that. The how part of it, very nicely talked about, but the how part, as we are seeing the infusion of technology from decade after decade, it's very important that we also embrace technology. I think 20, 30 years ago, people were afraid whether computers will take jobs away. They haven't. They've just made us more efficient. Today, there's a fear about AI. I think it will just make us more efficient. I think we were born to be creative. We were born to be explorers. That's where uh, our real calling lies. So coming to the how and the what part of technology, uh, tools like artificial intelligence, uh, augmented reality, virtual reality, what are they meant for? I think too long education has been focused on being instructive. From instructive, it clearly needs to move on to being more immersive, more interactive. I think we want to move towards immersive and more interactive, technology can play that role extremely well. And it's for the teachers to make sure that they balance out the online plus offline in a delicate manner. Just to say how it should actually happen in schools, I think there are uh, enough aspects of AI which are available freely. Today, you open your laptops, you go to the net, you will find everything from Chat GPT to Gemini to numerous AI softwares which allow drawings to be made, songs to be written, music to be written. All of these are available freely on the internet. If this cannot spark a creativity, the creativity of a child, what will? I think children under the right guidance need to be exposed to AI. Children need to learn in a more immersive manner. The power of augmented reality and virtual reality is that it can help children imagine ambiances and details which a bio lab or a physics lab cannot do. It can show you the most intricate details of the inside of a human body or outer space in a far more visual and engaging manner. So my request to anybody who's caring to listen and cares about education and cares about the future of this country, do not shy away from embracing technology. Make sure that there are guardrails built around it. Make sure that teachers are taught how to balance offline and online. Make sure that there are measurable learning goals and measurable outcomes that are put in place. And let's embrace technology. Technologies like AR, VR, AI can really take us there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I can't deny and completely in agreement. Just to add, the teacher need to balance, but we as leaders make sure that our teachers are prepared and they are trained for it. We have recently conducted the workshop for our teachers to train them with AI. how they can use. Otherwise, what will happen? The learners are very smart. They will know everything and teachers will feel outdated. So our job is to prepare them and then to use it. Be rest assured how we are in digital era. From bullet train, we can't go to bullock carts. The AI and technology is going to live. We have to learn to live with us. Only one thing to keep in our mind, which I personally believe, use technology as your slave, not become a slave of technology. That's the mantra we should keep in our mind and we should move ahead. We have to learn to live with it. It has already interfered and entered in each and every walk of our life. AI is nowhere going to leave us now anymore. Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful thoughts. I come to the senior most. So we know that you are actively participating in formation of policies. You meet the government authorities and everybody. So nobody can be better than you to ask that what role do partnership between schools, technology companies, governments, and non-profitable organizations can play in shaping the future of K-12 education? Over to you.
Good morning. Morning. Good morning. Okay, it's a very tough question, but let me just share my perspective. And perspectives could vary, but this is just my perspective. Uh, Collaboration between school owners, governments, tech companies, and NGOs is the most toughest equation. Very, very tough. And let me be very frank, because everyone has got their own goals, right? In my limited experience working with I probably was the only person who's worked with multiple political parties without getting emotionally or politically tagged. So I'm just, because they have a huge role in laying out policies. Even for a common man, an educator, to get and start contributing, that's the first level to cross. If you go as a school owner wanting to say, I want to really support, in policy making, you are looked with suspicion. So I think one of the biggest area for collaboration is always trust. You have to win trust, and winning that trust is the biggest hurdle for anyone. Even a tech company going to a government and saying, I'm ready to give you free tools, they just look to you with suspicion. I've seen large organizations in front of me talking to very senior ministers saying, sir, we are ready to adopt so many schools. I say, why are you adopting? So there's a level of trust which is very, very, it's a large hurdle. In my limited exposure with working on collaboration, I've understood it's very, very tough unless you have the perseverance to sustain it. Somehow I could manage it. I was very fortunate that I could work with every single sector which you mentioned. There was a moment when I went to a group of NGOs and I told them, can you all unite? Can you all work together? So they all, in front of it, in the face of it, everyone loves it. But after the session, they came and told us, we go to the same people for funds. So if I'm XYZ NGO, there are few selected corporates where we go for funds. So I need some unique selling point to get and access those funds. So how do you expect us to collaborate? So there are many, many roadblocks because everyone's goal is different. When a school owner decides something, they think from their perspective. They never think about what happens to a government school. They'd never think, for example, when I read the announcement today in Maharashtra where they said that every school should have a tie-up with a hospital. I mean, it came now. I was surprised to read it, that so many private schools are already doing it for years together. But it's new for the government because probably in the government schools that's not there. So when they take policy decisions, they think from their point of view. But if you go to any CBSE school, it's a mandate, right? You need to have a tie-up. You need to have a call with the hospitals. So when they take decisions, they're in a different boat. When a private school, as simple as declaring a holiday, right? Whenever it rains, I mean, I'm always pushed to check what happens in the city of Mumbai. Does the city declare a holiday? It's because, I mean, they sometimes declare holidays maybe at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the night, and they expect our parents to know not to send their children in the morning. So tough, right? As simple as that. But think about them, right? I mean, I was talking to one of the deputy municipal commissioner who's in charge for education recently, and I told her, ma'am, whenever you send a circular, there are no rains. So either, I mean, you are helping the weather a lot because it never rains. There's something happening. But if they don't send a circular, what would happen, right? So taking decisions on behalf of the government also becomes tough, right? Because they know that, if it doesn't rain, people are going to laugh. Last time when it happened, when I went to them and I said, sir, but when we announce, it never rains. So that becomes a problem for them. But as owners, we are concerned, right? As private school owners. Same with technology companies, right? Who's building technology? Till the time teachers are not building technology, right? Teachers are the people who have the classroom connect. They know what's happening with the child. They know what's happening with the parent, right? And it, till the time the technology companies do not engage with educators right from the development point of view, sometimes you're missing the most important formula. Technology companies' role is to ensure that they support the teachers and they cover all the gaps with the teacher sees in the classroom and with the learner. That's their key role. So for me, when you talk about partnerships, it is a wish list that some point of time everyone would come, but I think their goals are so different. And someone to sit and, I mean, during COVID, I remember, because see, when you do all these attempts to do collaboration, you have to do out of your heart, right? I mean, it is not easy, trust me. During COVID, every decision, I remember the cancellation of examination. That was so interesting and the day I write a book, I'll write about that instance also. But, there were only two states which opposed it, right? I mean, they said exams can't be done, which was Maharashtra and Delhi, right? And so till that time, we used to check with CBSE, the controller, saying, what's going to happen? Said, nahi, humko to exam karna hi hai. And the situation was getting worse and worse. And finally, the Prime Minister took a meeting of all the states, and both the states said, no, we are not in favor. And Prime Minister sensitively took the situation and told CBSE, you will not conduct. It was not a political move. I felt he was so sensitive to the needs. Otherwise, he would have said that CBSE is under ministry, I should support them. Right? He didn't do that. And then he did, once he announced, I called IB. And I told in Singapore, and we said, sorry, the Maharashtra government has decided not to conduct examination. So over a phone call, I was surprised the way IB reacted. Over a phone call, they said, Francis, this Friday we will announce that the exams would be school-based because we cannot conduct in other states and not conduct in Maharashtra. It has to be common. I went to Cambridge and I said, what is your view? They said, this is the weekend. Come back on Monday. But it was a weekend for IB also. But Cambridge took almost 4 days, 5 days to come out with a decision. ICSE immediately aligned. And quickly the announcement. So there was so much groundwork which happened to bring the boards together, to bring the school owners together. And then after these exams got cancelled, I still remember in Pakistan, Cambridge is a very popular board. Very, very popular board. So the moment all these things happened, I mean, people started tweeting and all those stuff started happening. And there was a case in Supreme Court in Pakistan on this cancellation of exams. Suddenly, I started observing that a lot of people from Pakistan are following me on Twitter. I said, what is really happening, right? And then people started writing to me. So then Cambridge came back to me and said, Francis, you're creating a problem for Pakistan. I said, I didn't do anything. So what happens is you have to have the self-interest to actually do. And it is all within your reach, right? You have to have the interest if you have to really make it happen. But finally, that time everyone was happy with cancellation. If you talk now, they will say, oh, why did you do this? Cancellation was not good. So it's all in the game, right? But partnerships is in you, each one of you. If you take that onus that I want to make this change happen, it is left to you. Don't wait for anyone else. Just jump into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Francis. I really don't know whether we have a sort of core committee where some members from each sector can be taken on the board, and those people can have a sort of communication and can make our job easier.
It's very tough. Because people always, when committees are formed, the people who are part of the committees usually have some kind of relationship with someone. There is a way to nominate, right? And I think I've learned one lesson: don't look for getting into committees. Just go on hitting. You should understand who's the influencer. Start hitting that person, right? And unfortunately, they are not bureaucrats. This is the secret I've realized. So you're wasting time if you're working with bureaucrats. You need some strong education minister whom you can actually align to and be their buddy so that you are able to support.
Unfortunately, choosing the education minister is also not in our hand. Really don't know. Sometimes there are such people who don't have any vision for, with due respect to all. Uh, anyway, anyways, uh, let's keep, working the positive thing, whatever best we people can, and looking forward for a better thing. I'm told that one of our panelists, Dr. Pinky Tiwari, is here. Ma'am, may I request you to come on this stage? We already had one chance, at least one interaction. So if you permit me, I wish to put the next point for the discussion to you, Dr. Pinky. With your extensive leadership experience, you can shed some light on the intersection of vision and its implementation. So I wish to know your thought on, as an experienced leader in the field of education sector, how do you prioritize inclusivity and innovation when translating vision into actionable strategies?
So, two questions clubbed together. First of all, apologies for coming late. Well, I'm going to talk about, I hope it doesn't sound paradoxical since I am late today, but I think transforming vision into reality is something like when you lead by an example, when you actually, just don't preach, you practice. You make people understand that it's not what you write or what you put in big blocks there everywhere, what is the vision, but what you do as a leader. Now, how do you do it is very important. Just not writing and jotting down the vision is important. You be a part of it. Like, for example, in our school, what we do is we just don't form vision and mission, ma'am. We sit together, we co-parent a child, we sit with teachers. It's not like I'm the leader and I'm just going to tell you what to do, but I'm there with them, and I lead by an example that this is how you do. not just what you do. So I think the first prerogative for any leader is to be a part of the journey, is to be a part, and only then transformation takes place, and only then you can see the transition from vision into reality. So that is my thing. Your second question was about inclusivity of education. I'll just cut it short and I'll make it very simple. I will not talk theory. I will give example of my own son. So my son, he's an engineering student now, but I still remember his kindergarten days and his first PTA. When I went, ma'am, the teacher started, you know how we have this sandwich approach. They all start with good things about your child. So like, oh, Rishi is very good. He's articulate. He loves sharing. And he's a wonderful child. He's kind. And I'm like, wow, this is happening. Good. But there comes but and if. It's like, but you know what? Your child uh, has lack of fine motor skills. And I was taken aback. I'm like, oh my God, being a mother, I never knew this. And I'm like, ma'am, what makes you say so? She's like, the entire class is very comfortable using scissors except your son. And as typical of my husband, he says that, couldn't you help him use scissor? I'm like, dude, you see his hair? He's a 3-year-old son. He will take a scissor and chop off his hair anytime. I was just being a protective mother. But you know what? I think it was not lack of fine motor skills. It was lack of exposure of my child. And the mistake was on both the side. I did not communicate that to my teacher. The teacher, rather than framing a big opinion and a generic statement, you know, a young mother of 3-year-old child, and she says that your child has lack of fine motor skills is something you are flabbergasted, you are taken aback. But what have I learned, ma'am, from that day? I wasn't the principal at that time, I was just a teacher. There is a gap between parent and teacher. And what's the gap? It's the communication gap. So let's bridge the gap of that communication between the parent and the child and see the magic happens. So that's how we can include vision into, we can transform vision into reality. We can have inclusive education. We do not label child just by observing his one of the behavior. I was listening very keenly to sir when I arrived, and it caught my attention when sir spoke about partnership. We really need to have a wonderful partnership between we as principals, as leaders, as teachers, and as parents. We need to understand we co-parent them. And parents need to understand, believe in the process and not the product. That's it. Thank you.
I believe we all must agree with it. At least I'm in complete agreement that all the stakeholders should be taken into confidence and as a part of process whenever we are formulating any vision or any policy. Be it a learner from their point of view, parents, as a whole society, management, even a class 4 employee should be asked what are your difficulties, and the things should be considered. That is what is going to give us a better result. The organizer, it's already 11:13. I really don't know. I should go for the next round because we have only maximum 10 minutes more. So if we can just ask the final question, and that can be a common question for all of us, including me, that what is one takeaway for all of us from this discussion? And then we would also like to hear from you people what you feel or you wish to say. I think closing in that particular way will be much more fruitful. Are you all in agreement?
Absolutely.
Big ma'am. These are various complexities about future education, something. All of you are educators here. I think resolve for just one thing. Make a brave new world, a brave new India. Please teach your children, never seek counsel of their fears. Never ever seek counsel of their fears. Because these children, if they start taking counsel of their fears, they will go into darkness. So prepare a big, bold generation of this country, a brave new world, who will be the leaders all over the world. आपको सबको प्रणाम मेरा. Thank you.
Wonderful.
If there's one message in the context of education, I'll say that I think far too long we focused on rote education, rote learning. I think we need to understand that the EQ part of a child is perhaps far more important before we get into IQ. So the child needs to be mentally in a happy state. He needs to feel mentally secure before we move to IQ. And we need to make sure that every child is nurtured uniquely. It's very important that the teacher realizes that learning cannot be equal. It has to be equitable. Thank you.
So with all the panelists here, and I've been listening to everybody very keenly, and one takeaway that I can see in this is where not only policy decisions, but every curriculum design or anything that we have spoken about, there needs to be collaboration and communication. So all the C's, when we take into consideration, when all the stakeholders come together to make a policy, that is where the success lies, where there has to be first collaboration, then communication. When collaboration and communication happen, that is where critical thinking will take place. After critical thinking takes place, that is where the creativity is going to blossom. We were speaking about creativity. So all these C's taken into consideration, one thing should be kept in mind, that all the stakeholders could come together with parents, students, teachers, governors, school owners, and all of that, and then only we will have success. Thank you.
Francis.
I think we worry a lot about the future, right? We keep thinking what will happen in the future. Just don't worry. I think our children are quite efficient enough to bring that change, right? So we start thinking so much about the future, stop thinking about the future. I think future is just happening, and you sometimes don't realize future is already your present, right? And we still look for future. So children, the kind of environment which is there, right? Allow them to learn a lot from the environment. That's the only way you can climb change. You cannot introduce new subjects. Nothing is going to work. Just allow them to absorb the change from the environment. That's why in school, I always say that children learn more from environment, not just from teachers. They learn a lot from the environment. So when it rains one day, forget about online for one day. Let them just learn from the environment rather than worrying about again pushing them in front of the screen.
Your comment policies, number of working days, number of working hours.
So
how
that's
to
the problem,
connect
right?
that?
Who has made that? Those kind of framework has to change,
That's
right?
That's what. I agree, sir.
Try to be a child and think, if you had a holiday as a rain, I mean,
The
used to
minute
play more.
holiday, we used to clap and jump with joy.
Don't make learners adults too fast.
Correct.
Let them go through the journey, right?
Thank you.
You want me to answer that? Okay. Yeah, the takeaway would be, I staunchly believe in equipping the teachers to make this world a better place to live in for students. We talk about diversification, but we do not equip our teachers enough to handle those. Every day, I find one teacher from my class coming out, ma'am, I cannot take this. I cannot handle this child. But if you contemplate, have I really equipped her to handle this kind of diversification? So for me, the takeaway would be 3E: enrich, empower, and enlighten not just your kids, but your teachers as well. As happy teachers make happy kids, and happy kids make happy school. So that's my takeaway.
Thank you. Even I wish to share that intelligence quotient, that IQ, should not be taken at the forefront. The other 4 or 5 IQs instead of IQ, Q should be taken. Maybe CQ, creative consciousness, EQ, emotional quotient, DQ, digital quotient. These are we have to learn to live with all this. And finally, SQ, overall social quotient. And then if we equip our learner with all this, we are going to get the HQ, and that is happiness quotient. And my journey in one line, if I wish to, the joyful journey for our learners in the classroom or the school, what you said, from nurturing happy young learners to happy, empowered adults. That is what should be our aim or goal. With that, I wish to conclude and thank my all co-panelists, all the audience over here, the team of Elets who have organized this and have given us this platform. And a special thanks, I don't know whether Dr. Ravi Gupta is here or no, but I know because he has to jump from this room to that room. But a special thanks to him as well. Before we bind up, anybody who would like to share his or her takeaway?